The same place, somewhere near here, which is wrongly translated as the burning bush in the Old Testament. It is the self-proposed activity or life, which we call the heartbeat and the respiration. It is the self-proposed fire. Because when it wants to begin, it begins. When it wants to stop, it stops. No doctor can help. When it wants to continue, the doctor can help. See, so the two fellows are the same place. This fellow is called the ego or the lower ego or the individual and the personality put together, the false I am. This is called the Lord or the real I am. This is the slave of environment and prisoner who is living in us. This is the master who is shining through us. And if we believe in him, we will sell everything to devil. Just as in the story of the book of Ruth in the Old Testament. Here, if we believe him, he is ourselves and we are himself. Because he gives himself up to us, the greatest sacrifice. Here, with the greatest victimization. So those two stories are there in us. Last year we have seen the positive and negative I am. Here, this is what is called Ishana or Lord. So this is the slave and this is the Lord. And we are allowed to live either as a slave or as a Lord. A slave of our environment, our indulgences, our tastes, etc. We are perfectly free to choose the either. That is how the scriptures go. So, as long as we choose this, we choose to suffer and live like slaves and dogs, fearing everything around us. The moment we want to awaken into this, the awakening is there. The only thing is we should want to awaken. We should have the proposal, that's all. The moment we have the proposal, it is pictures and in the yoga books, in all those books it is there. So this is what is Isha or Ishana, about whom we had, I think, 1 or 1.5 lessons from Patanjali. So this is the word meaning. Now, let us have a rough import of the whole stanza. Please take them. All that is present is present. Present means at present. Present tense. Comma. All that was in the past. The first is all that is in the present. The second is all that was in the past. And all that will be in the future. And all that will be in the future is but the same Purusha. Is all that is, yes, but the same Purusha. That is person, the same person. Then he is the Lord of eternity. He is the Lord of eternity. And eternal life. And eternal life. Stop. Next sentence, the third sentence is, he multiplies by food. He multiplies by food. And he surpasses food. Surpasses. This is the translation of the words. So here is a fellow, Purusha, who is everything. That is, all that is in the present. If you point out and say this is a piece of chalk, is it true or false? It is true, but piece of chalk is a name given by you, not it is there in it. If you say this is a table, it is a name given by us, it is not there in it. So it is a truth which is superimposed. If you say Krishnamacharya, it is a name given and accepted, and it is not there inside. If you take some blood and send it for medical examination, you don't find anything like Krishnamacharya. See, if I say, this is my wife, the sense of wife is in my mind, not in her blood, and it is superimposition. If you send a little blood to the doctor, he cannot find anything like my wife or anybody's wife in her blood. You see, here what he means is, if you say child, the word remains with you and not in the object. And if you want to know still, you can call it with the names of the chemicals which it is having some weight, and weight is not itself. It has weight. And it is having some chemicals. Chemicals, you can name it calcium carbonate, gypsum, etc. But it is the name given by you and not there in it. And finally, you go to the molecules. But molecule is the name given by us, it is not there with it. Then you go to the atoms. Atom is the name given by us, it's not there in it. So, the isotopes, the electrons, protons, what is there in it? If you analyze atoms and analyze the final ultimate vibrations, what is there? There is space and there is time. And there is only the product of space and time. Same thing in this house. Same thing in this. Same thing in everything. So he says, all that is in the present. You can show anything you have in the present. You can show the sun, the moon, the stars. But the name given is by you, the sun, the stars. It is a superimposition. That is what you want to see. But what is there is different from what we want to see. What we want to see is sun. But what is there is not sun. It is what is called itself or truth. Of course, the beginning of what he wants to teach. And all this, he says, that which is in the present is nothing but the body of the same person. And in that body, what you call atoms exist. What you call molecules exist. What you call names, they exist. What you call the person who is naming is also part of it. And the person who is named is also part of it. So, whatever you see around you, whatever you hear around you, it is the same person, and in his body we are living, just as the farmer, the ants, little ants that are crawling on the body and coat of Rodolph yesterday. You were having many ants on your coat yesterday morning. Like that, this fellow, this person has millions and millions of ants, that is the living beings on his body. But can the ants know that it is Rodolph? They are going on the body of Rodolph, but they do not know Rodolph because they have no word like Rodolph. Similarly, we do not know the fellow upon whose body we are going. See, that is what he wants to propose here. We have, every one of us have a point of view or visibility beyond which we do not know, and within the range of which we don't know. There is a range. Beyond that range, we cannot know. Before that range, we cannot know. You see, if we want to know something what is there in a star, we cannot know because it is beyond the range of our senses and mind. We can just imagine, like the scientist who imagines light years. The scientist imagines billions and billions of light years. We can also imagine a fairy tale like that. But the truth is different. If it is far off, our senses and mind, they are not ready to receive. It is beyond the range. If it is very near, what happens? Suppose we go to the opera and there is a dance. If it is a bit nearer, it is comfortable. If it's more nearer, there is no dance. If for the person who stands in the side of the opera, very nearer to the dancer, there is no dance. There is only dancer. And for the ant crawling on the dress or hair of the dancer in the opera, there is no dance because there is no dancer. It is beyond the point of view or purview of the ant. Suppose there is an insect crawling in her hair when she is dancing. To the insect, there is no dance because there is no dancer at all in her purview. Like that, for every created being, there is a point of view or visibility beyond which and before which there is no visibility. So he says, that which is there in the present around you and that which was there in the past, that also comes under our visibility, that is imagination. We say, my grandfather used to live like that, he used to smile like that. In the past, we have some just dimension, a little. My father used to speak like this, he used to eat strawberries in the morning. Like that, we can narrate some tales about people who were in the past, a little bit. So all that which was there in the past. And we have another narrow lens, aperture, about what we call the future. I say, tomorrow we'll meet. That is our narrow aperture into the future. In the evening we part and say, tomorrow we'll meet. How do you know? Just we know it as a possibility or a probability, but not a surety. Because suppose there is snowstorm tomorrow. Yesterday we said we meet tomorrow. Cannot. Therefore, the tomorrow exists to us only as a probability or possibility. So whatever exists to our purview as probability or possibility, which we call the future. What is existing with us as impression, in the form of impression, about what we call the past. And what is existing around us in the form of the present. All this is verily the same Purusha. He is existing in all these forms. That is what he wants to say. And therefore, he is the Lord of eternity and eternal life. What is eternity? It's not a miracle. There is nothing miraculous or absurd about it. Last year, I was here in October. Suppose there is a person sitting here last year. I went away to India. A person is daily sitting here. And this year I came here. A person is still sitting here. What's the difference of his understanding of Geneva and this hall and my understanding of Geneva and this hall? The difference is what we call eternity. You see, we have our scope only in a non-eternal or a chronological scope. we know things one after another. But in fact, things exist simultaneously, but our mechanism never permits us to know things simultaneously. Therefore, we receive knowledge or things one after the other. If I can see this building, I cannot see that building. I have to first see this building and then see that building. If I am reading this paper, I cannot read this paper. I have to stop it and read this. So, with the five senses and the mind, we can proceed only chronologically. That is, in succession, not in simultaneity. But if you consider the matter that is there in this paper, the matter that is there in this paper, and the matter that is there in the body, in terms of pre-atomic matter, you call it the background matter or eternity. You see, so eternity is not a miracle or not an impossibility, but it is an existence which is as natural as and as normal as ourselves, our own existence. That is what we call the background consciousness beyond time. Because we behave within time. When we are reading this, we call present tense. Again, when we read this, this is present tense and this was past tense. We read it. See, am I clear about it? He wants to propose this, and basing upon this, he proceeds to the next lesson. So there are a succession of steps. So we should be a little bit careful about the succession, otherwise we lose the link. Now, he has given us 3 steps. In the first lesson, he taught us that the Purusha has 1,000 heads, 1,000 feet, and 1,000 eyes. And now, he says, he has pervaded and surrounded the whole globe of creation in all dimensions. That is what he proposed in yesterday's lesson. And then he said, the Purusha stood beyond these dimensions also, because he is beyond his own measurements. Do you know a mysterious sentence in the book of Proverbs in the Old Testament? God numbered everything with number and measured everything with measure. What does it mean? Poor fellow. What did he do? He measured everything with measure, because he had no such instruments with him. Primitive, poor fellow. Not that. If you have something and say this is 1 liter, before you discovered it, what is your concept of measure? You had another measure. Before that, you had another measure. But the concept of measure is more true than the bigger measure or the lesser measure. So, God gave us the concept of measure, and we discovered the various measures. So, when God measures, he measures with what we call measure, but not this measure or that measure. So the sentence says, God measured everything with measure. That means the science to measure or the concept of what we call measure. Similarly, when he wants to number, when we want to number, we have many things. If I want to say 14, I do like this. But in India, if I want to say 14, I do like this. Because this is the picture of number 1 in our language, and this is number 4. So, we are just poor fools using only the pictures of numbers, because we cannot use numbers. You see, in whatever language we use, we have to use either the picture of a number or the name of a number. For example, if we say 14, 14 is the name but not the number. If we say 1, it is the name of a number but not a number. If we say 4, It is the name of another number, but it's not a number. See? So we can use either the name of a number or the figure or the picture of a number. We are not in a capacity to use what we call number. But we know what is number, but we do not know what is number exactly. Because it is operating in us. It is functioning in us. That is what Pythagoras says. But what God does? He numbered everything with number. That means number consciousness. He has given us what we call number, and we are counting with what He has given us as numbers. See, it is a sentence which should be just meditated upon for some years. Because we think that we have understood it. And we think that after all it is Old Testament. We want New Testament and more New Testament if we can get in the market available. Because it is old, we just pay only some little interest. To the New Testament we pay some more interest. But if there is more New Testament, we pay more interest. But the Testament is in God, who sees and tests if we read it or not properly. So, the day of judgment is with God, not with the reader or the book. Like that, yet he says in the first stanza, there are dimensions of this creation. If you say that this is sun globe, and if you think about this Purusha, the sun globe is full of the I am or this Purusha, but the Purusha is above and beyond sun globe. That is what the first stanza says. Otherwise, you would have been a prisoner in the sun globe. If you say this is my body, you are above and beyond your body. Otherwise, you would have been a prisoner in the corpusary body. Because when you are here, you are able to project and know that the wall exists. You call it sight or seeing. And you are able to project and understand that there is someone speaking. Like that, around your physical body, above and beyond, you are able to pervade and surpass. Similarly, around everything and above everything in this creation, the indweller is existing in the very same dimensions that are there in the creation. But he exists surpassed. And he is never bound by these dimensions. You see, if you say, this much of wood is made this table, wood is not bound by the measurement of the table, because the wood is cut from a bigger wood which was not having these dimensions, and it was not subordinate to the dimensions which we proposed to the table. We took out the wood according to our required dimensions, but wood was bigger than the dimensions we wanted. Similarly, any part of the creation, let it be the sun, the planets, the stars, they are, according to the need, prepared in quantity, quality, color, light, sound, etc. But the indweller of everything exists surpassed and is not bound by these dimensions. That is what he wants. You see? And then he stood surpassed beyond this by 10 digits, he said. It's still there. It is there. We have to explain something more, because it will be continued in the next lesson. This is what he proposed in the first lesson. In the second lesson today, what he has given is, all that is present around us is only this Purusha. all that was in the past as all these worlds and creation was Purusha. All that would be from tomorrow or next moment, everything, what we call the future, the three possibilities and probabilities, it is all the same Purusha. That is one proposition he has given. And he says, he is the Lord of eternity and eternal life. That means created beings can understand one thing at a time. But since he is the background of everyone, he is the simultaneity of understanding of everything. Therefore, he is the eternity. He is the Lord of eternity and eternal life. Life in a body is not eternal, it is temporary, just like the space in a vessel. But in fact, when the vessel is broken, the space is there. So, temporarily, the space in the vessel appears to be non-eternal. We say the space in this room. There is space in the room, no doubt, but the room was built in space. We should remember it. The room was there before this building was built. The building has been built in space. Space is never built in the building. So, the space is absolute of the two, and the house is relative. There was this space without house. There will be this space without this house when we take care of this house. In the meanwhile, we call it the space in the house, which in fact is really the space beyond and above the house. That's it. In that sense, the dweller of this space, whom they call the person, is eternal, and he is the Lord of the eternal life, eternity. And then he says, he multiplies by food. What does it mean? He eats his daily bread and grows. Just let us try to understand what he says. Here is a plant with the twigs and leaves. Here is something that wants to eat. So this is food to this. And here is the one who wants to kill this and eat. At the dinner table. He is looking at it. He is looking at it. So he licks his lips and says, "This is my food." He licks his lips and says, "This is my food." What is food in its true sense?
Energy. Energy.
Here we have some biochemical formula of grass, the chemistry of grass. Here we have the chemistry of the animal, the body. Here we have the biochemistry of the human being who never admits himself to be killed and eaten. You see? So we have some chemical matter, you can call it X. The same chemicals and minerals are there body of an animal with little difference, because the total minerals and the total chemicals on this earth planet are the same. You go to the moon, there are some more things which man does not understand. But as long as you are on this earth, the total minerals and the chemicals and their compounds, everything is the same. The chemistry and the biochemistry, everything is same. So, you have one formula of X minerals in this, another formula of X minerals in this, a third formula of X in his head and in his. You can say X1, X2, X3. When this fellow is asked to talk about this, he says that when this fellow is asked to speak of this, he says that, and he calls himself I am. See, when this fellow eats this, he calls himself I am. He never says I am and also that. In fact, I take some water in this and say water, third person, different from myself. I am different. Now I must say, I am and my water are going. But we don't say like that. Even though we eat, we don't say, I am going and my Moshe also is going with me. We don't say. See, we have our skirt. Do I say, myself and my pullover going home? We don't say, I say myself. But I am going with my pullover also, which is in third person, but I speak only in first person. Sometimes I may forget to take this away and say I am going along with this. And then our friend just calls me to take something from the parameter. Then it will be removed from my parameter into the parameter of the one. So, what is called food is, according to the scriptures, is that which is third person transformed into first person. That is what they call food. So this fellow, wonderful personality, he multiplies with food. What happens is, we know a little child growing into a body. What is it that has grown? Is it the tissues and the body or something else? The growing part of it, just try to locate away from the other parts. It is only the physical tissues and nothing else at all. We say the mind is also growing. Mind never grows, but it expands in its awareness. Growth is only a physical term, but we use it sometimes ignorantly that the mental growth is there and all that. For mind there is no growth, it is only awareness or degree of awakening, that's all. The term growth is only physical and nothing else. So, when we were children, we were having the I amness. When we are now having big bodies, the same I am is there inside, and he has not grown. There is no bigger I am and smaller I am. For example, there is space in this room, there is space in the smaller room also, but there is no smaller space or bigger space, but there is space. In the smaller room, no doubt there is smaller space. In the bigger room, there is bigger space. But space is neither bigger nor smaller. The dimensions apply to the room and not the space. So this fellow, he never grows, but he grows by food. That means growth is given to matter, and the fellow is the indweller, and he multiplies by food. You see? That means he never grows, but he makes body grow. He never eats. He makes the mind use the tongue to eat. And the belly to digest. There are three fellows working. The mind wants to eat, but unfortunately he has no apparatus to eat. Therefore, he induces the tongue to eat. Poor fellow tongue believes that he is eating, but the stomach snatches away from the mind and the tongue, because neither the mind nor the tongue eats. When we are eating something tasty, is it the mind that is eating? But the mind wants to eat. See the fun of it. And it has to request the tongue, Marshal, please help me to eat. Is the tongue eating? Poor fellow, he is also deceived. The stomach is like the monkey between two cats. I think you know the story. Two cats had one bread, and they were fighting. And there was a monkey. He said, "No, come here. I'll tell you. What for you are fighting?" The cat said, "There is only one bread, and we are two." He said, "It is very simple. I'll tell you what to do. Give it to me." Yes, he did. And he asked the cats to bring a balance. So, to weigh correctly. So, poor fellows, the cats brought one balance. And the monkey made the bread into two and put into the two pans of the balance. One is more. Then the monkey has taken a part of it and then put it. And the other is more. Then he took part of it, put it there. It said, yes, until it is equal, just wait, you can take. Otherwise you will quarrel. So the cats were just after it. And the monkey has gone home along with the story. The cats are remaining there. There was no bread to the cats. Similarly, the mind wanted to eat. When it sees water, the mind feels like drinking. It requests the tongue, just for my sake, drink some water. I want some water. The tongue, poor fellow, it wants to grab. But in the meanwhile, the stomach grabs away everything. It is only simple labor to the tongue and simple waste of time to the mind. The whole thing is taken to the stomach. But that is what is happening. But luckily, the stomach is very good monkey. It's not a monkey like the monkey of the story, because it supplies the same food in the form of energy both to the mind and the tongue. Otherwise, there would have been no tongue or no mind at all. So in the scriptures, the stomach is given the title, the name, the owner of the house, the head of the family. If you consider the whole thing as a family, he is called the father or the owner of the family, because whatever he gets from outside, he distributes to everyone, part of the body. That's why he is called Grahapati, that is the owner of the house. So here, yet Annena Atirohati, that is, with food, the fellow multiplies and surpasses all the dimensions. That means he pervades matter. He exists in matter, but he multiplies things in the form of matter, but always exists above and beyond the matter, though he exists in matter. That is what he means. Space exists in the house, but always space exists above and beyond the house. And space is never conditioned by the house or the rooms or the smells we produce in the house. Space is not conditioned. Like that, this person, peculiar fellow who is living in everything and everyone, he develops with food, but he never eats. He makes everything matter, and he makes matter eat matter, because he is existing in this as plant, he is existing in this as animal. But he calls this food when he sees through this. This fellow calls this food. This fellow calls himself I am. This fellow calls this food. This also food. Because man is like the son-in-law of this creation. He eats this and that and everything. Human being, wonderful fellow. The plants eat only water and sun's rays. They don't eat animals generally, unless they are associated and domesticated by human beings. They don't eat animals generally. They have their own photosynthesis. And then the animals eat the plants. The plants eat minerals and water and sun. The animals eat the plants. Human beings eat animals, plants and minerals and water and whatnot. So the human being, mankind, is the son-in-law of creation, of the Lord. Special privileges. So, what this fellow calls I am, this fellow calls food. What this fellow calls I am, this fellow calls food. So food is only a relative term. And what we call the property of assimilation. That is, non-myself becoming myself. So he says, with the concept of food, he multiplies in the form of beings, but he is never exists as beings. He is in the form of every being, and he is no one of these. That is the import of it. Next, we take up the third mantra also, if you are not tired. Shall we proceed to the third one? Good.